I'll come back. There's something that you said that I'll come back to later. I want to move to Liz. Kuyonesha, right? So because we talk, I'm acquainted with the work that you're doing and some of your experiences, particularly during COVID, right? It's we know, say for example, the UNESCO report that COVID was such a hard time for creatives world over. But I do know that Kuyonesha had some activities happening during that time. You supported a number of artists in Kampala, Gulu, Karamoja, during that period of time. So, one, Kuyonesha's work, right? What is Kuyonesha doing? But two, how did you position yourselves to weather COVID, and to support the artists during that period of time?
Yeah. So maybe just to give you the background of Kuyonesha as a program, in 2018 and 2019, we did a mapping study. First of all, there was an interest in finding out what exactly are the arts up to, and where are the artists, what are they doing, what challenges are they facing, where are the gaps, and how can we support this? And that is really on the recognition of the breadth of civil society. So every time you think about civil society, they look at the top players. And yet civil society is really everyone. It is you, it's me, it's the market lady, it's the person on the wheelbarrow, it's really everyone.
Yes.
So how is everyone participating, or how are they engaged in their communities, and how are they speaking up for their services and for what's really bothering them? And in that space, we found that it's really the artists who are now documenting, capturing, and they are the ones that are really doing this because they're passionate about what they do. It's a skill they have, it's a talent they have, but they are not counted as the activist or the active advocate for civil society.
Yes.
They are seen as
entertainers,
guys who are just carrying a hobby. And yet what they do really documents life. It captures culture, it captures society. Any country that you go to and you want to know about that country, look at the arts. Look at the history, look at the books, look at got the museums, got the libraries. That is really where the core of any society's history is held.
Documentation is done, yes.
So CIFSOS was very passionate about that. So in 2018 and 2019, we did a study and we segmented Uganda into 3 spaces to try and capture a snippet of what's happening. So this was done in Gulu, Karamoja, and Kampala to capture what exactly are the arts up to. And the revelation there was that there's actually a very active and vibrant art society.
Yes.
Artists are busy, artists are active, they're not waiting for the government to support them because they wake up and do. They live and move as artists. So in that study, it was revealed that what we had was a big percentage of artists in operation. Many of them are youth. And also looking at the population of Uganda, which is over 48 million, with the average age being 15, many of those are actually in the arts, which is classified as an informal sector because of its free entry. It's not yet structured, and also it's not yet very regulated. So you have several artists getting a free and easy access into that. But also it's easy to start and practice as an artist. Some of it is natural talent, some of it is by association, some of it is really
internship
with either at the university or wherever you are. And it's a space that people have found a lot of joy and passion to do what they're doing. So then from that space we thought, what are these artists up to and how can we support them? What challenges are they facing? So from that space we realized that we had very few participation of female artists. There was limited to no funding because you wake up and you do what you're doing. Nobody's going to give you startup capital because first of all you're seen as you're high risk.
You're high risk.
You're classified as a very high risk sector because you're not regulated. You're not registered.
How do they quantify your time? How
do they find you first of all? You don't have an office. You don't have an address because many artists live and work from their home studios. And that is really how they start out. So then from that space we thought, okay, how do we support artists from the space that they're at? Because what we're looking at is their full engagement and participation because they're doing really, really amazing things in their different communities. So then from that Kuyonesha was birthed, and Kuyonesha is really a Swahili word that means to show. It means to show, to highlight, to exhibit, to display, and we set out to celebrate the art and artists in all their diversity. And we started out in the regions of Gulu, Kampala, and Karamoja. So this was 2019. At the end of 2019.
Just before COVID.
Nobody even knew.
Right?
Nobody saw that coming.
Right?
So just as we set to, to roll out,
Yes.
and then there was COVID.
And
So that was now into 2020, the beginning of 2020, where we're starting to roll out. We want to give small grants to artists because from the study, there was clear that there needed to be funding for the arts.
Yes.
A certain basic minimum that enables artists to live and create. And because it is really their full-time job, they need to have a certain basic minimum sort of welfare that enables them to live as artists without struggling. So then as we set out, then COVID, and then we're like, okay, now we're, and then through that space, we're like, no, but this can be done. So luckily we'd been able to establish relationships with different art centers in Gulu, Karamoja, and Kampala, and we did this remotely. So then just by being able to contact the different networks that we had, we're able to have a selection process. First of all, roll out a call, have people apply, have a selection process, and then be able to select a number of artists that you can start with. And from that foundation, in 2020, we supported 63 projects. And projects it was either single or group participation.
Yes.
And then in that, we're
and they
able
were
to
different
support
across different
across
arts.
different categories of the arts.
Yes.
So you had the performing arts, the visual arts, and the literary arts. And then in that space, we're able to support over 230 artists benefited in the 2020 projects.
Wow.
Those were 63 projects, but you had theater, you had books, you had visual artists. There were different projects, and that was across the spaces of Gulu, Kampala, and Karamoja. And you realize that the challenges that the artists go through are largely defined by the spaces that they're working from, the communities they're living. The challenges that Kampala artists face are different from the challenges that artists in Gulu and Karamoja are facing.
Yes.
That does not in any way take away the fact that they're challenges. So then as a program, we thought, how do we then support these artists to go through these challenges? While we're giving the small grants, it was evident that there was a lack of professionalism, there was a lack of digital access, or even just basic connectivity. There was a lack of capacity building in the different spaces and practice that they were interested or even already working in. There was a need to be able to transition the work into monetized economy that enables them to earn and live and
to
thrive,
sustain
themselves as an artist. Yeah. So then we set up the program is set up to have a grants plus component, where then beyond the grant that you get, you're then connected to people that are relevant to your practice, and then these can support you. So then we had small communities or networks of artists who then are doing what we'd call a one-on-one support to each artist.
The mentorship program.
Yes, the mentorship. So then you are linked to an artist who is, who's done the journey longer than you have, and they can handhold, really, just give you the ropes and moves of what you're doing to support you from making the mistakes that they made.
And it's important. It's important for creative, because we approach the creative process intuitively, right? You have a skill, you have a talent, someone says you can do it.
Absolutely.
So you start to do it.
Absolutely.
And then you learn on the job, right? And it's great. It gets hectic.
Then you get to a place where what you know is not enough.
Yes.
Absolutely. And that's the space where many then are forced to run away from it because they must survive.
Yes.
So then as a program, we had to figure out a space to find a good balance for them to be able to do what they're doing, be able to earn from it, and then be able to survive as an artist.
And
it's a continuous
supported.
journey. So while you get, and some of them is really, you find that the process of creating an artwork is like a research process. It's trial and error. It's it can take you 5 years to figure out something, but in those 5 years you need to be able to earn, to be able to live. So it's been a process of being able to handhold, being able to support them, and just being able to celebrate them and know that what they're doing is really important. And also, given that we've had a lot of, like Rachel said, a lot of the artist's eye sees things differently.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll be seen as critical, but as an artist, you are documenting what you're seeing.
Yeah.
And you are putting it in a perspective that relates and connects to the everyday person. So then you find that the person who's offended by your artwork, and depending on who holds the power, will easily shut you down. So you had a lot of artists whose artworks were seen as too bold, maybe, to put it that way. They were too critical. So then you have their freedom of expression being closed. It's being tightened somewhere. So how do you support an artist like that to continue to do what they're doing? Because that is what they're doing. They're documenting history. They are capturing what they are seeing in their communities. So you're able to appreciate that and allow them to do what they're doing as an artist and look at it as a body of work, not as a defiant statement against somebody or, that is attacking someone.
That's important for...
It captures history, it captures the state of where they are.
Yeah. State of the day, yeah.
We had artists who are actually also using their art to transform their communities. We had artists, especially in Gulu and Karamoja, who are doing work for community sustainability. So they are doing projects where they are training other community members to learn the skill that they're doing, and then they're selling this and they're earning a living from it. So how do you then support a group like that to continue to do what they're doing? Because what they're doing is not only for their personal pleasure and excitement, it is actually transforming the lives of a community.
Yes.
And those were several projects, especially in 2020 and 2021. So to enable that is really to appreciate where they come from. They have no connectivity, they have no digital, smartphone conversations, they don't have that. So we were able to also have a structure that allows us to do grant making differently. When you're granting a sector that is largely informal, largely unregistered, doesn't have a bank account, doesn't have an office, you can't do it in the traditional way. So the really exciting thing about the program is that we are adaptable to the space that we're working in. So we also do grant making through mobile money transfers. We do reporting because you have artists who do not speak English. That does not in any way mean they're not artists, but they are able to do and express themselves.
Doesn't mean they don't understand what they're doing. Or
yes. So as a program, we also support artists who are not speaking English. But we have communities that understand what they're doing. So in that conversation, it's really having, so we call them regional selection committees because they support our understanding of what they're doing. And that bridges our understanding and knowledge gap because then it's not just about English. Artists can express themselves in any language whatsoever. It should be amazing. So we have many artists who are not formally trained, but the artworks are amazing. So then we support them through partners who are able to translate that for us, and they ease the reporting gap. Like Rachel was saying, you find that going through traditional grant making was very complicated. Many artists can't write proposals, many artists cannot write, many artists just don't even like to write. That whole process.
They just want to work,
I just
do
want
their
to
work.
do my art.
Can I just show you a picture of what?
Don't make me write a proposal, don't make me write a whole statement of I don't know what. They have no interest in that, and we understand that. So we're able to have a very simplified process that enables them to either apply in an audio, do a video, or even have a conversation, and then this is what I want to do. In 3 questions, you're able to know this is what the artist wants to do, this is how much he needs, this is the support that he needs to continue to do that. So we also, in a way, had to have a very flexible system because we are in a sector that is largely informal. So those are the different, and that is really how we're able to navigate COVID. Because had we been that rigid structure, it would never have happened. So 2020 and 2021, we've been able to support over 500 artists in 2020 and 2021.
In Uganda?
In Uganda, Kampala, Gulu and Karamoja. And that was just 2020 and 2021 through that whole COVID period. So that is really the Kuyonesha journey.
That's 500 employed people.
That is 500 job opportunities. That is 500 people that are able to contribute to their community. That is 500 people that are able to earn and support their families. We have amazing stories of change where somebody tells you, I've educated my daughter up to university. There's a lady who was is from Gulu, and in She was from the 2020 team, and her daughter was the best in S6. And for her, it was really just that touch with Kuyonesha, that because we supported a film that she created. And she was like, from this film, I was able to raise money, send my daughter to university, and she was the best in Gulu region, in Gulu district, in 2021.
Wow.
And for her, she's like, had you not given me this, had you not believed in me, my daughter would not have completed university.
That's the connection.
So
yes.
so
That's
just
the
being able to
connection part.
see that the ripple effect of just what might seem like a small grant to an artist, what that spirals into and absolutely transforms someone's life.
Yeah.
Is amazing.
I'm interested, if I can just interject. I'm really interested because I'm always looking for the how does the art fit into
Society, community.
other places. As in the construction business,
Yes.
we have a lot of artisan work.
Yes.
A lot of it. Without the artist training. And for me, I find that mind-boggling.
And they've learned from somebody.
They've learned from somebody,
not-
but they don't consider them artists.
Yeah.
But what I've found is that those that are really good
Have
pay attention to that, just that small artistic eye. They will do their work just a little bit better.
Yeah.
The way they, where they put their lines, they will first assess. They're not just banging walls or just creating. They'll just, that extra detail, which translates into money.
It's a very interesting thing that in the 2013 Ministry of Gender report on what the space of the arts was, about 48% of them were formally trained. That is the benchmark of the arts. But of the 48%, only slightly over 40 have only gone beyond primary. And that is as much as they
So
have.
the rest of their training has
The
been
rest of
through
the training
apprenticeship.
has been
Yes.
just learning from somebody.
Yeah.
I hang out with you, I see what you're doing, I
Yes.
learn it, and that's it.
As an apprentice.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah.
it's a largely informal sector, and the realization of that is really what has, in a way, hindered its development because it's not structured, it's not regulated, it's not planned for. When they're doing the national planning, the artists are somewhere somewhere there. It's not at the main table. So for us, it's also how do we bring this sector that is creating and contributing a huge percentage to the country's development because it employs a big percentage of the youth.
Yeah.
For a country whose average age is 15 years and has a large population that is between 15 and 24, many of them are in the informal sector. So how do you now bring this sector to the main table of planning so that you're able to use them and work with them as credible workforce for national development?